Hi, this is Mrs. Zhu, and we're working on homework number 2. This homework goes into quarter 4 grades, so not this current quarter that we're still finishing off. I'm going to start with number 1, and we're going to find the square root of each one, but we're going to approximate our answer to the nearest integer. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers, but we're really only going to be focusing here on our answers for the positive answers. So for number 1, because there is a negative on the outside of the square root, that does need to be part of our answer. I'm going to use a squiggly equal sign because that represents approximate, and it's going to be approximately 8. And that's because 8 times 8 is 64, and 61 is close to 64. Number 3, 91 is going to be close to 9 because 9 times 9 is 81. Actually, I think it's 10 because 10 times 10 is 100, and 91 is actually going to be a little closer to 10. So that's going to be my answer. I don't want to have decimals in my answers. I'm rounding it to the nearest integer and approximating it that way. Number 5 is about 8. That's 62. Number 7, I want to evaluate the expression. I want to use PEMDAS. Okay, sometimes PEDMASA. Okay, if I need to, not to confuse you, but here, we're going to first do the parentheses, so I'm going to write 3, keep the parentheses. What happens here is going to be 4, then I'm going to square it, so I did the parentheses. Now I'm going to work with exponents, so that means I'm going to square, not the 3, not 12, but just the 4. So 3, and then I'm going to do 4 times 4, so then I'm going to have 3 times 16, and that's going to give me 48. Okay, on number 8, when I have operations to do in a denominator or a numerator, I want to do that first. So keep the fraction bar. 6 goes in your numerator. I'm going to do 6 minus 4, which is 2. Then I'm going to subtract 2. So here, the fraction bar means divide. Here means subtract. So in PEMDAS, I want to do divide first. So then I'm going to divide 6 with 2, giving me 3. Subtract it with 1. Then my answer is 1. Skipping down to the bottom. For number 11, we're going to, I did that in class, so why don't we try number 14 actually. Number 14, I'm going to use the distributive property, the dance party. So I'm actually going to be distributing, and when I distribute, I'm sharing. I'm going to share and multiply, so that if you kind of remember from our song way back then, we did dance parties, share and multiply. So we're going to share the negative 3 with only the numbers and the terms that are in the parentheses. So I like to put the negative 3 right under them, and I like to write it twice because there's 2 terms. I'm going to then cross that out because I don't need it. So I've shared them. Now I'm going to multiply them. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Positive 2x times negative 3x, negative 3 is negative 6x. Then I want to bring my positive 3x down. Then I'm going to combine the like terms. My like terms here are the ones with the x's. And since these have an x, I'm going to look at the coefficient, the number that is in front of the variable. I have negative 6 and positive 3. That means if I were to do T for teams, 6 is negative, that's for me. Positive is for you, so you get 3. So at the end of the game, I'm going to subtract them and have a difference of negative 3 in the middle. So that gives me negative 3x. And then I'm going to write the negative 6 in front of the minus 3x, and I can write it just like this. Actually, the best way to write it is like this because it's the proper way. So you'll always see your answer like the last answer. But really, they're the same thing. You do that for all of them. I know we went over number 11 in class at least, so I'm not going to do those ones again for you. And on the back side, as you solve each equation, it is important that you find your exact answer and your approximate. So here, to get z by itself, since there's 2 z's, z times z is equal to 90, I'm going to do the square root. That means z will be equal to the square root of 90, and the square root 90 is about 9. So we're going to approximate it like that. Same thing with number 2. A squared is 84. So I'm going to say that square root of both sides, a is then equal to the square root of 84. So that's about also 9. 84 is also 9. If I try number 7, let's say for instance, I have to do a little bit of PEMDAS right here. Okay, it's important that I do 5 times 5 first, and I could also do 4 times 4. They're both doing a little bit of multiplication. So I can do all the multiplying together. That's 25 and then 16. Then I want to do the operation subtraction in between them. 25 minus 16 is then going to be equal to x squared, bringing that down. So 25 minus 16 is, good, 9 is equal to x squared. So I'm going to look for x. So I'm going to square root both sides. So x will actually be equal to the square root of 9, which is actually equal to the exact answer of 3. Number 8, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take 3 squared, 3 times 3, and 9 squared, 9 times 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. Add them together, make that equal to x squared. So 9 plus 81 is 90. That equals to x squared. So to find x, I'm going to do just like what I did in number 1. So you should get that same answer. Z is going to be the square root of 90. Approximately, that's 9. So I can put both answers there, and that's going to help me. Let's go and scroll down to number 10. On number 10, I need to apply a little bit of what I remember about friends and family. So anytime that I'm solving for the variable, everything has to leave the house, friends and the family, so that A, the party boy or girl, is there by themselves now. So to do that, the 16's got to leave first. So to do I have to leave, you have to do the inverse operation. So we have to minus 16 with 25, giving me 9. So that's equal to a squared. Then from here, I would then do the square root and the square root. So a is really the square root of 9, which is really the answer of 3. And number 11, I'm going to do the same thing. I want x squared first by itself, so I'm going to move the 9 over. To do that, 9 is a positive, so I'm going to subtract the 9 with the 25. If I subtract them, I will get, good, that's what you should have gotten, 16. Then I'm going to square root it, and then that way I'll have x all by itself. So x will be the square root of 16, which actually equals the answer of 4. Good. Okay, I hope you can try the rest all by yourself, and we'll check our answers tomorrow. Have a great day.